had nothing to lose.
He's not in a position to do that, is he?
No, but we've got nothing to lose. We're 15th. Try a few of the lads. You
The
never
other
know.
thing, you
Pressure
talk
makes
about the
diamonds
last 20
sometimes.
minutes were really good and shown a bit of braveness. We were saying this before. People rave about it, the last 20 minutes. Oh, yeah, they were brilliant, shown great character. You've got to do that in the first 20 minutes. Everton was like, not the good old days, but it was hostile. The players had great energy. The crowd were on top of them. Where are you then? Where's Bruno Fernandes then? That's when you win your games of football, because you get to 60 minutes and Everton, they've flown about everywhere. They're going to be wrecked. They're going to be knackered. And even if you just keep it 0-0 by being brave, keeping possession away from them, maybe scoring a goal, that last half an hour at Goodison, that's when you win the game, as you're shown. But they haven't got the balls, they haven't got the bollocks to do that in the first 20 minutes, half an hour.
We'll get back to Scholesy and Carragher in just a quick second, but remember, if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. And don't forget to click the notification button so that you know when the next Big D video hits. And also, just remember, if you've got something to say, if something's bubbling up inside of you that you need to express, well, the comment section is for you. So please, type away until your heart is content. The Big D looks forward to reading what you've got to say. I read all of the comments. Anyway, in this clip, Scholesy and Carragher are going to be giving their take on Manchester United as they currently stand and the performance of Amorim. There's going to be some interesting viewpoints from the fans as well, who do make some astute points that the Big D does agree with. But anyway, here's the clip. Stick around for after the clip, because the Big D is going to be sharing his thoughts on what was said in said clip. Anyway, here they are.
Is there anything in... Because I find myself almost contradicting myself when I speak about Amorim, because when I talk about maybe Ange, I've said, he always plays the same way, he doesn't adapt. But I have got something with Amorim where I think when a manager is so stuck and rigid to a system, and throughout his managerial career, I think he's only played a back four times. And it's not so much the system, it's almost that's his DNA. It's like asking Klopp not to press. So I actually speak differently about Amorim than I probably do about other managers, because that's his thing. That's what you brought him here to do. So it's like asking, as I said, it's like asking Pep not to play small midfield players. That's his thing.
Remember when Ten Hag came out and said after like a month, I can't play the football I played at Ajax, and everyone went, why the hell are you here then? And that's why you need someone to come in. And if you do, I know it sounds like I'm making excuses for him, but if you look at the squad, there's literally not much there.
Where's the squad going to come from?
We obviously have to start making better decisions in terms of our recruitment, not wasting money on certain players. And I think if you do get rid of a few, like Anthony's finally doing something, so hopefully you can boost his price tag. Rashford, you can bring money in. So hopefully we can make some changes. Also, you look at the recruitment they're doing, like the likes of Lenny Yoro. They're bringing in a lot of good younger talent to hopefully grow. Which is what you need to focus on. Yeah,
you mentioned that Ten Hag, not being able to play what he played at Ajax, and you look at the Ajax side, and it was incredible. Like they had clearly the best team in Eredivisie, and one of Eredivisie.
They're playing in a bad league, you can't.
But the best team there, but also one of the best teams in Europe. They should have, if it weren't for Spurs, got to the final of the Champions League. That
if it weren't for Spurs.
Do you not remember that?
Yeah.
I watch it every day. But I'm saying is him coming. Look, the same reason why Amorim was signed and the reason why Ten Hag was signed was the brand of football and the total dominance in their respective leagues is completely different. He's not going to be given the time to do that, is he?
Well, he needs to be given the time.
Yeah, but there's a different, and I hate to admit this, a level of expectation at Man United and Tottenham, and also we had to endure Mourinho and Conte before.
No, my point being is, I think you make a good point. I think when you get managers from leagues where they're dominating the ball, they're the best team, their out-of-possession stuff isn't as important. So if you're in Sporting Lisbon and you're always in the top, you win in the league or you come in second, you dominate most of the games. You're now coming into a league where, because of the squad of players that you got, forget how big Man United are. And it's the same with Tottenham in terms of Ange being at Celtic. You're not going to be the best team in the league. So the problem that both teams have, and I think a lot of Tottenham's problems as well, is actually without the ball. Because maybe the managers, not saying they don't know how to coach it, I don't mean that, but they just haven't been, that hasn't been their game for the last 3 or 4 years because they've been dominating games of football.
The difference in leagues is a good point, isn't it? You think of the Dutch league and the Portuguese league very much. I think Arne Slot made a good point yesterday when he said 11 points clear. In any other league, this is done. It's game over. But in England, there's just so much good teams and quality about that you just can't relax.
Are they at United? I'm not. This isn't a dig because in previous years I'd have said it. And
Why are you so worried about United all the time?
Are they actually looking to be staying up though? Are you looking like in another year? Could United have gone down? Yeah. And that's not a joke. It's a genuine question.
If
we've got 30 points, though,
if the likes of Ipswich had a handful more points, I think what is it about 12 points or something? Could United have actually gone down? Or?
Well, yeah. If the other if like less than Southampton another 14 points, yeah, we'd probably go down. Yeah.
My thing is, like, is that good management? Like, doesn't he have to pick up more points? Doesn't he need to win more games? Like, I understand having a philosophy and an idea, but don't you have to be more pragmatic than that? Isn't he going to lose credibility, even within the dressing room? You know, are these players going to believe in this idea when week after week they're not winning football matches?
That would be my... Listen, the people at the top at Man United, they're only human, we're all the same. There's no doubt in my mind that Jim Ratcliffe will be thinking if we made a mistake. There's no, he must be thinking that. He will. I'm not saying he has.
You can't bring a manager in mid-season, yeah? A manager who at the start goes, you know what, I'd rather come in the summer, by the way. You can't bring a manager in mid-season, have no money for him in the January transfer window, not give him anything, see the squad shot to bits, you let Rashford go, you let Anthony go, you let all these players go, not replace them, and then go halfway through the season, through his first season, you know what, we're not going to give you the time to turn things around. I think everyone talks about these ideals of Manchester United needing to change their culture, needing to get a manager in, give him time, needing to allow a manager to let his philosophy get across. Now, I'm not saying that means with time it's guaranteed to be a success, but everyone seems to preach these ideals, but then when it comes to it, they haven't got the patience to stick around.
I've seen you say that on your podcast, I've seen that on social media, and I'm not saying Man United should change the manager. My point being is, I think when a manager comes in at a club, I'm not expecting Man United to be amazing, but I'm not expecting to see this. And it's not even results, sometimes just seeing something in a game. And I was thinking about this the other day because people keep talking about the system. Remember Glasner came in at Crystal Palace? He came in, that was his thing. He was known, when he came in, this is what this guy does. He plays 3-4-3 or 5 at the back. This is his DNA, this is what he does. And straight away last season, you could see the impact on Crystal Palace. Now, we knew they weren't going to win every week. We knew it wasn't going to be amazing. They've gone back to being Palace this season, but always mid-table, just below mid-table. But you could see something and feel something. And I was massively positive about Amorim. His press conference I really enjoyed. He was so sort of confident and articulate. I'd done a big piece on Monday Night Football against Liverpool, how the system caused Liverpool problems. Liverpool didn't quite know who they were picking up. You know, this system can work in certain situations, but it's been so bad. I'm just saying, there must be a thought in the head thinking, are we going a bit early with this guy? He's still only 40. This is not a guy. And don't forget, the managers in the Premier League are the best in the world. He's come up against managers that are better than him. That's just a fact because he's 40 years of age. You can't know everything about management. He's only a young guy who's had a brilliant start in his managerial career. That's why Liverpool looked at him. That's why Man United have took him. But I'm not saying they should change the manager. I'm not saying that. But as James just said there, because the results and performances are that bad, that will create doubt. It's just human nature in the dressing room and in the boardroom.
It worries me. I know what you're saying there, Jamie, because when you lose every week, there is going to be that disconnect, and I'm sure they must be growing further apart. I'm sure Jack Blair is stepping back and thinking, have I done the right thing here? And I feel sorry for the manager a little bit because he came in with Dan Ashworth, was going to be there. He's going to be the one next to him. And I felt like with Ten Hag, there was a big gap from his side and his staff side and the football side to the ownership. And I don't want that to happen again. I feel like it is happening without that man in the middle. Do you know what I mean? I'm hoping, and I don't know because we don't see what happens in the trailer. I'm hoping he's getting a bit of help every day. I hope Jim Ratcliffe or Sir David Brailsford, whoever it is, he's with him every day. And it feels like it's coming apart a little bit again. I know it's very early to say that, and I don't know the actual, I
wouldn't be surprised if you thought the job wasn't as big as it was when he got there. And like these players, with a back four, back three, these players were 13th before he arrived, with more players available. Do you know what I mean? We had a bigger squad, and they were 13th when he got there. I just hope it's not too big of a job for him. But you need to give people time. You can't just get itchy trigger fingers as soon as And I know the results have been pretty bad, but you can't. You gotta be able to just calm down a little bit.
The scary thing is, Ratcliffe seems to be at fault, in my opinion. Like, given Ten Hag another contract, then paid him off £14.5 million 6 months down the line or whatever it was.
Same with Ashworth, had to pay him off 5 million. We waited.
Yeah, and meanwhile, he's
5 months for
sacking
him and he
dinner
was in the
ladies.
job less time.
He's also sacking dinner ladies at the same time. So it's like, what is the kind of the man who's driving this football club and his decision making is debatable in the most extreme. So how is it going to get better? I don't think it will.
Also, if you're going to bring football people in to decision-making positions, you've got to allow them to make decisions, right?
James, do you have something to say on
I
that?
was going to say that where United are at now, to be honest, it does remind me a little bit of where Arsenal were a few years ago, where they had a squad full of players who underperforming, high salaries. They needed to change it over. They brought in a manager mid-season, and it took time. But what Arteta did in his first 6 months, he was a guy who'd come out of La Masia, worked with Pep, a 4-3-3 coach. He changed because he didn't have the players. He played a back three, wing backs, because that's what you have to do. I'm not putting up on a pedestal and saying, what a great manager Arteta is. I'm just saying that you've got to do what it takes to survive, to give you the time to make the changes you need. Because if the squad are the problem, I accept that, but you can't change that all in one summer.
It didn't feel like Arteta was on his own, though, was it? He had Edu beside him, I think.
True.
Guardiola, you think of Bagaristo, I'm not sure about Liverpool and Arne Slot. I just feel like the United manager, he's thrown into it, and that's it. He's on his own. He's getting no help, no guidance, especially when he's 40 years of age. Do you know what I mean? He needs somebody with him, probably not to babysit him, but he needs help every single day.
It has to be a collaborative effort. Yeah. It does.
Rory, does Maresca?
Yeah. There was some really interesting points made in that clip by Scholesy and the gentleman there with the bald head. Amorim, I think, needed to adapt. If anything, just to tide him along while the players got used to him, while he got used to the players, while he just picked up some results, while he survived. Because it just seems a bit too gung-ho, the way Amorim has managed the team thus far. I mean, if the club stick with him and it works out for the best long term, and that what he's doing, he's sending a message to the board saying we need more players, we need X, Y, and Z, get them in the summer, and then the team will kick on. But I'm telling you now, if things don't pick up by November of this year, Amorim's out the door. And then we're going to be stuck with a squad that's suited to 3-4-3. So was he going to get Conte in from Italy, from Naples? That wouldn't be a bad shout, that, to be fair. He's a Premier League winning coach. But the point being is, Rúben Amorim has boxed himself into a corner, and I agree with Scholesy on that point. It didn't have to be this way. It didn't have to be this bad. And I've said before, and I'm going to say it again, Rúben Amorim has shown a little bit of naivety in his management of Manchester United. He could have just plodded along with a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1 until the end of the season, got a respectable place, kept Van Nistelrooy on, and then revamped the team in the summer. But then again, I mean, who are we to criticise except the paying public? But I mean in a technical sense, because just to play devil's advocate, I mean, for years now, we've had managers that has just tried to make the best with what they've had. Mourinho did that. Ole did that. Ten Hag did that in his first season. Whereas now Rúben Amorim's just went straight in there and said, we're playing this way, these are my standards, if you don't like it, bugger off. And some players have buggered off. So maybe this is the way to go. You just set your stall out, take your licks on the front end. It's almost like ripping off a band-aid, isn't it? Just get the bad times over with as quickly as possible so we can look forward to better times moving forward. So that is a fair argument, but he's got until November. He'll get a summer. He'll get backed in the transfer market. He'll get the players in that he wants. And if he doesn't perform straight away, the Sword of Damocles is going to be slowly hovering above him. But the one thing that he has got up his sleeve, whether he realises this or not, is that he has got a footballing project behind him, unlike previous managers. So hopefully they are able to stop him forking out ridiculous amount of money for players that are not worth it, like Anthony. And I'm not trying to criticise Anthony necessarily because he's doing really well in Spain, but we clearly overpaid for him. We've overpaid for other players as well. So if we can get the astute signings in, then if they don't work out, it won't be so much of a hit to the club. And there'll be less pressure on them as well, the players. So then hopefully they'll just kick on. So if we got Vlahovic for 40 million, that would be a snip. If we got Osimhen for 40 million, that would be a snip. Because they'll probably take what they can get for him. And, just imagine that. Osimhen and Vlahovic. And then send Højlund out on loan. Just to, give him some minutes. Or keep him around. Whatever. That would be nice, that. That really would be nice. Osimhen and Vlahovic. Those are my two picks. I'm stating it now. That's who Manchester United should be going for in the summer. Vlahovic and Osimhen, because you can't just rely on one, because there's always injuries, as we all know. But then Harry Kane's available as well. 60 million for him for 2 years. Would that work? I don't know. There's Gyökeres as well. Who knows? Anyway, I'm digressing a little bit. But yeah, recruitment, it is a little bit better now, I think. But Jamie Carragher's right as well in the league that Rúben Amorim has come from and the league that Erik ten Hag came from, they were poorer leagues. Now, I've said this before. Erik ten Hag was more qualified to manage Manchester United when he first joined than what Rúben Amorim is now. Because, yes, fair enough, they both won their respective leagues, which were poorer. However, Erik ten Hag was a whisker away from getting the Champions League final. And it didn't work out for him at Manchester United. So, what's different about Rúben Amorim? That's what we're all waiting to see, because it does remain to be seen. And I understand what Jamie Carragher means in the sense that when you're out of possession, it affects you more in the Premier League as it does in the lower leagues, because the other leagues, the lesser leagues, shall we say, because they're not as potent enough to harm you when they've got the ball. So your opposition, that is. Your opposition aren't as effective enough going forward as what a Premier League team would be. So you have to be a little bit more solid in the Premier League and robust as you would in, say, the Dutch League or the Portuguese League. But that doesn't even matter if you can't score goals yourself. It's like Mike Tyson climbing into a ring with no arms. He's got no chance. Doesn't matter how hard he is. But yeah, hopefully Rúben Amorim can sort of turn it around. But I like what Adam says as well. Adam McCauley, he made some really interesting points in that give the kids a run out. You might as well. Because there's no one else. And no one expects anything from Manchester United at the moment anyway, so there's going to be no pressure on them, or not as much. So just give them minutes, bleed the minutes. Just keep on bleeding the minutes, especially Chido. Because if he kicks on straight away and he's like a duck in water, then that'll probably save us 60 million in the transfer market in the summer. And we could maybe get an attacking midfielder or something like that. Or a central midfielder even. So I think that's certainly something to think about. Because the team does need some more creativity too. Yes, it does need a goal scorer, but what's the goal scorer going to do if no one's going to give him the ball? So that needs to be taken into account. But the great managers do adapt. And I think Rúben Amorim needed to adapt at certain points. I mean, it's good enough for Ancelotti, it's good enough for Ferguson, as what Scholesy alluded to there. Even Jose Mourinho's adapted as well. Because everyone thinks he's just this defensive manager, but his Chelsea team was dominant in attack. And his Real Madrid team, I think they've still got the record for the most goals in a La Liga season. But of course, the players that he had. And when Mourinho was at Man United, he didn't have the players to play that kind of system, and he adapted, and he did really well, all things considered. So Rúben Amorim should have adapted. I don't want him to get sacked. Don't want him to get sacked. I'm sick to death of the manager merry-go-round. Because if we get rid of him, okay, there's Conte, but who else? Who else is going to come? What we're going to do? Going to get another up-and-coming young manager? Thomas Frank or something? I don't know. And then start the whole process over again? It's weird seeing Man United in this position. It's weird. At 25 years of being brilliant, how we took that for granted. We had players like Paul Scholes in midfield, and Roy Keane, and we were like, yeah, it's just Scholesy and Keano. We weren't used to anything less. And then, a little time after that, we've got Fellaini and Schneiderlin in midfield, and it's like, oh wow. So this is what normal footballers are like. We're used to gourmet meals, not this Burger King stuff. What's going on? It's weird. It's weird. But what do you guys think? Are Man United doomed under Rúben Amorim? Is the Sword of Damocles hovering above his head? Please put your thoughts in the comments, and the big deal. See you in the next one.